As soon as I picked up this first rep with 130 kilos on the trap bar deadlift, I kind of knew I was going to get 145 for a triple over the next set. It escaped me last week, and after this third rep on the same 130 kilo set, I wasn't that sure anymore. But then when I went to 145, it all looked okay. Last week I only did two, and the third one I got stapled to the floor. I wasn't really able to clear it off from the dead stop. But this third one here, I was able to, and it kind of gave me a bit of an unpleasant sensation in the front of my right knee. Maybe I wasn't really in the best position, and there was a lot of forces going through the legs at that point. So I need to be careful, especially at the end of the top set where fatigue is building up, even if it's just 3 reps. And after that, I also went up on the back of set. I went to 110 kilos and I took those for 6 reps. And then I went over to some jumping. Here the field of view is not the best because I'm trying to record this at 60 frames per second, so that I'm able to measure it as accurately as possible. And I was able to break the 700 milliseconds airtime here on one jump, and they were all above all the jumps that I've done up until now. Granted, it's not an apple to apple comparison, because before I was mainly doing just a 2-step approach, while in here I'm getting an extra 2 steps. But when I am then looking at the next set, there are a few differences that I'm going to point out. In the meantime, I went for the usual giant set, so I was doing pullovers into push-ups, into some elbow work. It's usually one of the variations between hammer curls, barbell curls, or barbell drag curls. This time it was the hammer curls, and after the push-ups, where I went again up to 25 repetitions, and I actually did 2 sets to 25, so I was really feeling the push-ups were going well while fatigued, which is not something that I'm always feeling. I went up and grabbed the 12 kilos, where I was doing higher repetitions, did 16 in the first one and 14 in the second set. I did not record the second giant set, but I did record the second jumping set, because while not being as good as the first one, there is a better field of view that actually allows me to look at the run-up, and that's where the differences that I mentioned earlier kind of come up. In here, ideally, I would like to start building up some speed and acceleration from the first step, the very first step. But what ends up happening in the end is that the first step is just more of an introduction, and the couple steps that go after that are the ones that actually are meaningful to developing some acceleration. So definitely, if I'm taking more space, I better be using that for a meaningful purpose and not just to ease into that. I really need to get going as quickly as possible if I want to develop the acceleration necessary to build up more strength to then jump higher. Ciao.